says it's starting.
All right.
Live is starting.
All right.
All right. We are now live.
We're live. Isn't that
live.
nice?
It's good. It's good.
It's so good to be live. By golly.
Yes.
Just think about what would happen if we weren't. Alexa, stop. Had a little echo dot there.
Yeah.
Trying to remind me to reset a password that I can't figure out how to reset.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of all of that. It's Saturday, the 23rd of November.
And it is 1 p.m.
It's 1 p.m.
Central
Time. And whatever time it is where you are. And it's kind of a chilly day down here.
Yes.
It's sunny. We had a frost advisory this morning, but we missed it by like 1 degree.
Right.
We have another one for tomorrow. Sooner or later, we're going to get a frost.
We're going to get a frost, yes.
Yes, sir. Sooner or later, we're going to get one. But it's...
and it's close to Thanksgiving.
Right. It's a beautiful day. 5 days from the American Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes. That feel is in the air.
Yeah. So today's show is called November Nostalgia Part 2. And it's more songs that we like, but we just haven't played for a while. And we're going to start out with one that was written by Lil Appel and was recorded by Lou Mitchell. And it's called The Cougalsville National Bank. Yeah. There's a little old lady who lives up the street. Her house is so tidy, her house is so neat. No one could imagine, however they try, what this little old lady was doing on the sly. She's someone's grandmother, her hair's snowy white. The FBI's hot on her trail tonight. She's down in Brazil with the janitor Hank and the loot from the Cougalsville National Bank. Now the Cougalsville Bank had an audit today, and I'm here to tell you there was all hell to pay. She filched all the money in tiny amounts from out of 100 dormant accounts. She's someone's grandmother, her with hair snowy white, and the FBI's hot on her trail tonight. She's down in Brazil with the janitor Hank and the loot from the Cougalsville National Bank. The children all loved her, and grown-ups would vie for a piece of her old-fashioned blueberry pie. No one suspected, not even Hank, she was juggling the books at the Cougalsville Bank. She's someone's grandmother with hair snowy white. The FBI's hot on her trail tonight. She's down in Brazil with the janitor Hank and the loot from the Cougalsville National Bank. Now she worked 20 years without a vacation. The president said that's real dedication. But on this subject she remained rather mute. She simply smiled sweetly and piled up the loot. She's someone's grandmother with hair snowy white. The FBI's hot on her trail tonight. She's down in Brazil with the janitor Hank and the loot from the Kugelsville National Bank. Now she gave to the church and no thoughts were higher. A voice like an angel was hers from the choir. From her picture window there glows no more light. She's dining in Rio Janeiro tonight. She's someone's grandmother with hair snowy white. The FBI's hot on her trail tonight. She's down in Brazil with the janitor Hank and the loot from the Kugelsville National Bank.
I have 3 comments.
Oh, good.
Possibly another one. Hang on here. Stephen Barry Einbinder.
Hi, Steve,
He's-
from the Boca Folk and Bluegrass Club.
He said, "Good afternoon, George. As the last 3 songs from last Sunday's folk and bluegrass swap were missing from the YouTube video, do you by chance remember the name of the song you performed to close the show?"
I can easily find out for you, Steve. Just give me a minute. Let me see what we got. It was a bluegrass tune. I remember that. Ah. It was The Sunny Side of the Mountain. That was the name of the song.
The Sunny Side of the Mountain.
The Sunny Side of the Mountain. Yep.
Lavonda is here. She
Hi,
said,
Lavonda.
"I made it again."
Yes, indeed. You're getting good at this.
Yes. And Laura Hardin said, "Here I am now. Had to play my second tune on rock mostly first before I could switch over."
Oh, well, thanks for coming over. I wish I could do the
Yeah.
both weeks. I love that song circle. What did you play? Just out of curiosity.
And Debbie Lane is
Hi,
here.
Debbie.
She said, "Good afternoon."
Good to see you. Wow.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to all.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Laura, I've got another train song just for you.
Oh,
By golly.
there you go.
So, ask and ye shall receive. I had lined this up before before we got on last week's Song Circle, and you said you'd heard the City of New Orleans. So I figured, what the heck? Might as well play it anyway. All right. And here it is. This song is called Wreck of Old Number 9. The version I'm doing was recorded by Doc and Merle Watson. It was written by a guy named David Grace George in 1927, and I don't know if it depicts a real event or not. So here it is. It's called Wreck of Old Number 9. One dark stormy night, not a star was in sight. The north wind came howling down the line. There stood a brave engineer with his sweetheart so dear. and his orders to pull number 9. She kissed him goodbye with a tear in her eye, the joy in her heart she couldn't hide. And the whole world seemed bright as he left her that night, for tomorrow she'd be his loving bride. The wheels hummed a song as the train rolled along. The black smoke came pouring from the stack. The headlight gleam seemed to brighten his dreams, for tomorrow he'd be a-comin' back. As he turned around the hill, his brave heart stood still, for a headlight was shining in his face. He offered up a prayer as he threw on the air, for he knew this would be his final race. In the wreck he was found, lying there on the ground, and he begged them to raise his weary head. As his breath slowly went, here's the message he sent to the sweetheart that he had planned to wed. There's a little white house that I bought for our own, where I knew we'd be happy, you and I. Dear, I know you've been true, so I leave it to you till we meet at the Golden Gate. Goodbye. Wreck of old number 9, just for you, Laura.
She answered your question about what song she played. Turkey in the Straw and the Peace Carol for Thanksgiving.
Oh, sorry I missed that. You don't get the recording of that unless you're in it. That's the way Karen sets it up.
Well.
So. All right. Got a kind of a scratchy throat this afternoon. I don't know why. Okay.
Laura said thank you.
You're quite welcome. It's a fun song to play. And of course the doc, flat picks it and does things that one can only dream of doing oneself. Let me see.
He was unique.
Yeah, the doc. Everybody likes the doc. Everybody likes the doc. That's just the way that is. Okay. Here is a song by an Ohio native called Haywood Banks. A man with one of the strangest senses. He's right up there with Shel Silverstein. He's not bawdy, but he's just bizarre. And LaVonda could probably verify that this is true. The what he's singing about actually happened. Ricky could too if she were here. Anyway, he calls this one Big Butter Jesus. In southern Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, I beheld a vision next to the expressway. It was a 60-foot Jesus with his hands in the air, like he's carved out of butter, just like at the state fair. Big butter Jesus, sweet cream Jesus, country fresh Jesus, unsalted Jesus, oh promised Jesus, imperial Jesus, can't believe it's not Jesus, holy old Lord. Well, you see him from his chest up, like he's about to do a backflip, or maybe scored a touchdown, or maybe melting or about to drown. Well, I've been to the state fair, seen a cow made out of corn cobs, Stephen Hawking out of string cheese, or the Virgin out of olives. Big butter Jesus, sweet cream Jesus, country fresh Jesus, unsalted Jesus, oh promised Jesus, imperial Jesus, can't believe it's not Jesus, holy old Lord. Shifting pieces on a flatbed, staring backwards was his big head. Driver stuck in traffic backups, desperately avoiding eye contact. Well, don't you make no graven images, I think it's one of the 10 Commandments. I hope the grading curve is kindly, you get into heaven with a 90. Big butter Jesus, sweet cream Jesus, country fresh Jesus, unsalted Jesus, no promised Jesus, imperial Jesus, can't believe it's not Jesus, holy old Lord. One night big butter got struck by lightning, and it burned to its frame wire in a giant grease fire. Some said it was Satan, and boy, that would be frightening. But I thought it was Jesus' father who was in charge of lightning. Big fireball Jesus, extremely flammable Jesus, chark-broiled Jesus, whoop-eyed Jesus, extra crispy Jesus, bananas fostered Jesus, I'm put out but not Jesus, holy old Lord. I'm put out but not Jesus, charcoaly some more.
LaFonda wrote, yes, true story.
Yep.
It was.
Sure enough.
Only in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Only in Ohio. Only in Ohio. Let's see here. There. That's better. I have a monitor that is independent of what you all hear, and the Autoharp was drowning out everything else in my monitor, so I had a little behind the scenes inside baseball there.
Ah, yes.
Here's one that was written by and recorded by Stan Rogers, a Canadian folk singer who was killed in a plane crash, died way too young. And And he wrote it. It's a modern song, but it's written in the style of old 18th century folk songs. It's called Barrett's Privateers. Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Oh, Elcid Barrett, cried the town, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make for him the Antelope's crew. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope sloop was a sickening sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She'd a list to the port and her sails in rags, and the cook in the scuppers with the staggers and jags. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the King's birthday we put to sea. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. We were 91 days to Montego Bay, a-pumping like madmen all the way. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the 96th day we sailed again. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. When a bloody great Yankee hove in sight, with our cracked 4-pounders we made to fight. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Yankee lay hull down with gold. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She was broad and fat and loose in the stays, but to catch her took the Antelope 2 whole days. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Then at length we stood 2 cables away. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Our cracked 4-pounders made an awful din, but with one fat ball the Yanks stove us in. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope shook and pitched on her side. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Barrett was smashed like a bowl of eggs, and the main truck carried off both me legs. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. So here I lay in my 23rd year. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. It's been 6 years since we sailed away, and I just made Halifax yesterday. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, a little sea shanty there. Okay. All right. Let me see.
Bay is here. Bay.
Hey, Bay, how are you, buddy?
He says hi.
Good to see you. How's things? I hope you're doing good.
Yes.
Getting a lot of gigs and all of that kind of good stuff. And here you got here just in time, Bay. Here's a song dedicated to all of us silver top musicians out there.
Oh, he said doing well.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Working on a new album.
Oh,
whoa.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
This song was written and recorded by a guy named Todd Schneider, rather. And it's called The Comb Over Blues. When I was a kid, I never thought I'd end up with what I got. I thought I'd get to keep more than I'd lose. Now this mirror reminds me every day that life may not work out that way. I got the comb over blues. It just blows my mind to hear myself say, God, what's the matter with these kids today? This crap they play's just way too loud and rude. You know it's true. Rolling a joint used to put me in the mood to come back, but now it makes me think I'm having a heart attack. I've got the comb over blues. Oh, the years go by like highway signs. Try and try, you can't make no Mother Nature change her mind. After all these years in traveling bands, backstage beers and rental vans have left me here with all I've got to lose. This aching back, this smoker's cough, this broken heart, and to top it off, these comb over blues. I got the comb over blues.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one by Gordon Lightfoot. I played this a lot when I was younger. It's called Sit Down, Young Stranger. I'm standing at the doorway, my head bowed in my hand, not knowing where to sit, not knowing where I stand. My father looms above me, for him there is no rest. My mother's arms enfold me and hold me to her breast. They say you've been out wandering, they say you traveled far. Sit down, young stranger, and tell us who you are. The room is all gone misty, my thoughts are all in spin. Sit down, young young stranger, and tell us where you've been. Well, I've been up to the mountains, I've walked down by the sea. I never questioned no one, and no one questioned me. My love was given freely, and oft times was returned. I never came to borrow, I only came to learn. Sometimes it did get lonely, but it taught me how to cry. And laughter came too easy for life to pass me by. And I never had a dollar that I didn't earn with pride, 'cause I had a million daydreams to keep me satisfied. And will you gather daydreams, or will you gather wealth? How can you find your fortune when you cannot find yourself? My mother's eyes grow misty, there's a trembling in her hand. Sit down, young stranger, I do not understand. And will you try and tell us you've been too long in school? That knowledge is not needed, that power does not rule. That war is not the answer, that young men should not die. Sit down, young stranger, I wait for your reply. The answer is not easy, for souls are not reborn. To wear the crown of peace, you must wear the crown of thorns. If Jesus had a reason, I'm sure he would not tell. They treated him so badly, how could he wish them well? The parlor now is empty, there's nothing left to say. My father has departed, my mother's gone to pray. There's rockets in the meadows and ships out on the sea. The answer's in the forest, carved upon a tree. John loves Mary, does anyone love me?
Stephen said nice yodeling on that.
Well, thanks.
When you did, and Bay said, always a pleasure watching your fingers dance in the strings. You've got your own style, George, love it. And then he said, the yodeling song reminded me of Hank Sr.
Yeah.
Said, this is a great song, George. He was talking about the one, I think that you were just playing, the Gordon Lightfoot.
I got a feeling called the blues, oh Lord, since my baby said goodbye. Yeah.
There's Hank.
There's a little Hank. A very little.
Oh.
Yeah, it's, I didn't know that, Bay. I genuinely, honestly did not know that until very recently. And when Mike Mueller asked me to do workshops, and when I did workshops after I won the contest, and then Mike had me back, all of my students were confused. They're like, dead quiet. Huh? What? And I thought it was my teaching technique. Because I said, now, here's a pinch. Here's a pluck. Here's a strum. And nobody does that. According to Ivan and Drew, who both at different times recently told me, George, nobody plays the Autoharp the way you do, and that's why you confuse folks when you try to teach them, because it's like coming from another planet. Well, I didn't know any better. See, my roommate lent me an Autoharp because I was whining and complaining about not being able to play the guitar because I didn't like the calluses on my fingers. Because I fretted with that part of my fingers because, again, nobody taught me how to play the guitar either instead of the tips. If I had figured that out, who knows? I probably wouldn't be here today. But he gave me an Autoharp. He lent me an Autoharp that belonged to his mom. And he said, look, all I know is you put it on your lap and you cross your hands.
Right.
So you can push the buttons with your left and you can pluck the strings with the right. So I just naturally, right? And then I thought, well, that's nice.
Rest is history.
And so then I want to kind of play like a banjo. So I said, well, maybe if I... Well, that was cool. So I thought, well, what if I play the bass with my thumb? Well, if two's good, three's got to be better. And I already had this down, so... Okay, so 4. And then it got to be 5, and it got to be this.
He had said up here, you're one of a kind, and then don't change. And Laura said, this is 1 hour, right?
Yeah, basically, if you have to leave it at the top of the hour, it's an hour, basically.
They said it's the McCoy rattlesnake technique. That's what it is.
I call it the claw.
The Wreck of the Nine is not based on a real event, according to Google.
I didn't know one way or the other. That's why I didn't say it was or wasn't. But anyway, so when I try to teach people stuff,
they don't follow.
They're like, huh?
Huh? Yeah.
And you can pluck and pick like that with the Autoharp on your shoulder. I could wish that Mother Maybelle, instead of putting it up on her shoulder, had done something like this. Would have made it a lot easier on people. But, there it is. So, yeah, you're the third person, Bay, who's like in the business who's told me that. Mm-hmm. And Ivan and Drew...
They all said don't change.
Yeah, they all said don't change.
Don't change.
But they finally got around to telling me that like last May.
Right.
And they'd known me for years. I guess they just didn't have the heart to tell me. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Anyway, we better play some music. We don't want to run out of time. We may run a few minutes over. I'm not going to commit to just exactly on the hour. What I had to do though was back off from trying to prepare 25 songs to do in 2 hours. I just can't do it right now. Battling some health issues that prevent that. So we are at the halfway point in terms of the songs. Here's a song by Judd Strunk. He had a hit with it, and so did Roy Clark and a bunch of other people. I think it's the only hit he had. It's called Daisy a Day. He remembers the first time he met her. He remembers the first thing she said. He remembers the first time he held her, and the night that she came to his bed. He remembers her sweet way of saying, honey, has something gone wrong? He remembers the fun and the teasing and the reason he wrote her this song. I'll give you a daisy a day, dear. I'll give you a daisy a day. I'll love you until the rivers run still and the four winds we know blow away. They would walk down the street in the evening, and for years I would see them go by, and their love that was more than the clothes that they wore could be seen in the gleam of their eyes. As a kid they would take me for candy, and I'd love to go tagging along. We'd hold hands while we walked to the corner, and the old man would sing her his song. I'll give you a daisy a day, dear. I'll give you a daisy a day. I'll love you until the rivers run still and the four winds we know blow away. Now he walks down the street in the evening, and he stops by the old candy store, and I somehow believe he's believing he's holding her hand like before. For he feels all her love walking with him, and he smiles at the things she might say. Then the old man walks up to the hilltop and gives her a daisy a day. I'll give you a daisy a day, dear. I'll give you a daisy a day. I'll love you until the rivers run still and the four winds we know blow away.
Beautiful.
See,
Pat,
there is.
Pat's with us. Hi, George, and
Hi,
your
Pat.
wife. Hi, Pat.
There is room for this. Anyway, here's a song that was done by Phil Harris way back in the 40s, when he was 30s and 40s, when he was on the Jack Benny radio program. It's called Elmer and the Bear.
Oh.
Elmer Jones arose at dawn, put his hunting breeches on, looked up at his shotgun on the wall. He made his mind up then and there to bag himself a hunk of bear, and hunting he had plenty on the ball. He milked the cow, fed the hog, kissed his wife, called the dog, picked up his gun, and started on his quest. He crossed the creek and hit the trees, threw back his head and sniffed the breeze, let out a yell and pounded on his chest. Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run. He hunted all the morning through, but not a bear came into view. Elmer's mind was on the kitchen range, for he was sick as he could be of lamb and chicken fricassee, and craved a mess of bear meat for a change. Poor Elmer's mind was on a fog. He paused to sit down on a log to get his faculties back in the groove. He heard a noise, and standing there before him was a grizzly bear, and he figured it was time he made his move. Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run. He grabbed his gun and turned around, but Mr. Bear just stood his ground, and Elmer said, "It's either me or thou." The gun refused to go, and so he knew that someone had to go, and he said, "Farewell, I'm leaving as of now." Then Elmer's shoulders sprouted wings, his feet developed inner springs to linger longer. He was disinclined. He ran so fast through muck and mire his ankles set his socks afire, but still that bear came coming on behind. Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run. A deer with antlers 6 feet wide got in the way of Elmer's stride as both of them went heading for the brush. Elmer said, "Now listen, son, if that's the fastest you can run, move over, 'cause I'm really in a rush." The bear was gaining inch by inch and finally reached out for the clinch as Elmer saw the fence around his place. He leaped the fence and landed hard, jumped 60 feet across the yard, and slammed the kitchen door in Bruin's face. Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run. That bear was trying to get inside as Elmer sought a place to hide, and Mrs. Jones began to pull her hair. She said, "This fuss has got to stop. Why don't you let that matter drop?" He said, "Honey, you go tell that to the bear." Then Mrs. Jones said, "Listen, goon, how come you think you're Daniel Boone, whose appetite on bear meat used to thrive?" He said, "I'm sure that you're aware that Daniel always killed his bear, but honey, I done brought this baby home alive." Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Life can turn to you-know-what very quickly.
yes. Pat was saying about his mom is doing better.
Oh, that's great.
And much better in the evenings. She is more awake and doing well. And how is your dog going?
Oh, he's going well. I've been kind of down sick, so he hasn't gotten quite the work that he needs. So he's a little rusty at some things, but I'm feeling a bit better right now. So I'm giving him more work and exposing him to the stuff that he's used to seeing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see us traveling much in the near future. After what happened last year at MLAG, I am very reluctant to get on an airplane.
Yeah. He said, "Bless you both," and a big thumbs up. And
Thank you, Pat.
Charles Benjamin Harris is with us. Hey, Benji, welcome. And Pat said, "I see."
All right.
Ben said, "Hello, everyone."
Hey, Ben. Good to see you.
Welcome, welcome.
This is, as far as I know, a traditional song. A lot of people have done it. It's called Rabbit in a Log. Rabbit in a log and ain't got no dog. How will I get him? I know. Get me a friar and I'll twist it in his hair. That's how I'll get him. I know. I know. I know. That's how I'll get him. I know. Get me a friar and I'll twist it in his hair. That's how I'll get him. I know. Build me a fire and I'll roast that old hare. Roll him in the flames nice and brown. Feasting tonight while the moon shines so bright. 'Cause I got no place to lie down. Lie down, to lie down. I got no place to lie down. Feasting tonight while the moon shines so bright. 'Cause I got no place to lie down. down the track with chicken on my back, soles on my shoes nearly gone. Little ways ahead, there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. Weary bones, weary bones. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. Little ways ahead, there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I'll rest my weary bones. Rabbit in a log and I ain't got no dog. How will I get him? I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist in his hair. That's how I'll get him. I know. I know. I know. That's how I'll get him. I know. Get me a briar and I'll twist in his hair. That's how I'll get him. I know. Yes, sir. That's fun to play.
Well,
it really is.
that's fun to listen to, I can tell you that, too. I love that.
Okay, now from bluegrass, let's do a little country honky-tonkin' kind of song. This was written by Bobby Craddock and Troy Jones and recorded by Billy Currington. And it's called People Are Crazy. This old man and me, we're at the bar and we're having some beers and swapping I don't cares, talking politics, blonde and redhead chicks, old dogs and new tricks and habits we ain't kicked. We talked about God's grace and all the hell we raised. And I heard the old man say, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. He said, I fought 2 wars, been married and divorced. What brings you to Ohio? He said, damn if I know. We talked an hour or 2 about every girl we knew, what all we put 'em through, like 2 old boys will do. We pondered life and death. He lit a cigarette. He said, these damn things will kill me yet. But God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. Last call is 2 a.m. I said goodbye to him. I never talked to him again. Then one sunny day, I saw the old man's face. Front page obituary. He was a millionaire. He left his fortune to some guy he barely knew. His kids were mad as hell. But me, I'm doing well. And I dropped by today to just say thanks and pray. And I left a 6-pack right there on his grave. And I said, God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. I like that song.
I do too.
Because, you know, the end, I was listening to it with my son. And I said, oh, yeah, okay, it's a typical country song. And then he wound up with all the money. Man, I got to learn that.
Yep.
Okay. We're moving right along here. This is good. We might get through everything in a reasonable time. Okay, this song, I think, it was recorded by Ramblin' Jack Elliott, and I think he wrote it. And it's called Rocky Mountain Belle. There's a story I must tell about my Rocky Mountain Belle. She was everything to me, my very life. We had smiles and we had tears, and for 27 years I had promised her someday she'd be my wife. With the ceremony planned, I had bought a wedding band and invited all the neighbors from the farms. But the day we were to wed, I was tired and stayed in bed. Now the whole darn mountainside is up in arms. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in. And they're shouting, come on out and take your bride. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in. But what a fool I'd be to go outside. Never thought my prairie queen would be causing such a scene. And the poor old sheriff can't hold back the mob. I'll admit we would have wed, but she went ahead and said when we married she was gonna quit her job. There's her pappy at the gate with a loaded 38, and he's shouting, come on out before I shoot. Oh, I wonder if he knows I've got on his Sunday clothes, if he shoots at me goodbye to pappy's suit. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in, and they're shouting, come on out and take your bride. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in. But what a fool I'd be to go outside. Well, they brought along their lunch, and I'll bet that whole darn bunch thinks they're gonna sit around and starve me out. Here inside I've got a cow who's a corking roast beef now. So you see they don't know what it's all about. To me it's just a joke, I could stand a lot of smoke. In the fireman's band I used to play trombone. Well, they've got me in a spot, and it's getting mighty hot. But to me this burning shack is home sweet home. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in, and they're shouting, come on out and take your bride. Oh, they're burning down the house I was brung up in. But what a fool I'd be to go outside. Here's a song that was done by a group. They made one album, and then they disappeared into obscurity. Tried to make a comeback a couple times and never quite got there. We had a cassette tape of their one and only album. I don't even remember what the title of the album was, but we wore that thing out. Did find the album online somewhere and got a copy. The group is called A Touch of Grass. And this song is called The Old Man. He awakens in the morning and he curses. I curse too. He awakens in the morning and he curses at the sun, and he dresses in the same old clothes again. The old man eats no breakfast, he just sits and drinks his wine, 'cause the bottle has become his only friend. Can he go on blaming others for the things he does himself without losing self-respect along the way? How can it be alright for him to do the things he does while condemning someone else who does the same? Now the old man is a loner, that's the way it has to be. He never could admit that he was wrong. And though he knows within himself, his pride won't let him see how a man can force himself to live alone. Can he go on blaming others for the things he does himself without losing self-respect along the way? How can it be alright for him to do the things he does while condemning someone else who does the same? In the chilly, I forgot a verse. Here's a bonus verse for you. In the chilly air of evening, in his shirt and dungarees, the old man gently rocks and tries to sleep. He claims he doesn't give a damn. He says he has no need, and yet a tear runs slowly down his cheek. Can he go on blaming others for the things he does himself without losing self-respect along the way? How can it be alright for him to do the things he does while condemning someone else who does the same? Any comments?
Nope.
Okay. All right, we're going to get through all the songs today. How about that? This is the last song. It was recorded by Ray Stevens, and it's called The Dog Song. You know, if dogs could sing, here's a song that might be sung by some of man's best friends. She said, I'm tired of being treated like a dog. I'm out of here. When I heard those words, it really made me perk up my ears. I know she's been mistreated, but what she said is wrong. But if he had treated her like a dog, she'd have never gone. If he had rolled around and played with her on the floor down in the den, taken her for nice long walks, given her a bath, and then dried her off, rubbed her tummy, scratched her behind her ears. Well, I'll bet you a bag of kennel ration that she'd still be here if he had only treated her like a dog. well, happy ever after. We've been there ever long. She'd never stray away from home. She'd wag her tail and tag along. If he had only treated her like a dog. Now he calls me prince, treats me like a king. But when it comes to her, I don't know why he can't do the same doggone thing. Like wash her bowl and water dish every night, like he does mine. Compliment her, give her little treats from time to time. Let her out all on her own every now and then. Well, I'd have me some stiff competition to be that man's best friend if he had only treated her like a dog. Happy ever after, would have been there ever long. She'd have never strayed away from home. She'd wag her tail and tag along if he had only treated her like a dog. If he had only treated her like a dog.
We have Sean Scott with us. He says, hello there.
Hey,
It's
Sean.
a beautiful day in Kansas. And then he said, always enjoy your music.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Unfortunately, you've come in at the end
And,
because
yes.
for health reasons and some other kind of life issues, we've had to shorten the show to 1 hour. So I hate to say hello and goodbye, but unfortunately that's what we're going to have to do. But you're certainly welcome to listen to the rest of the show here in just a couple of minutes. It's great to see you again, for sure.
Yes.
And hope we'll get to see you again when we can stay longer.
And thank you, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Thanks so much. Folks, if you want to drop a little something in our tip jar, you can go to autoharpdownhome.com and click the donate link. And if you drop a few pennies in there, we'd appreciate it. If you can't, we love you anyway.
Sean says, I'll join you again.
Please do, sir.
Please do, yes.
And while you're there, if you are so inclined and if you can still play them, and if you haven't already done so, you can pick up a copy of our Forever Friends CD, which is a CD of songs all about dogs. And it traces the path of dog ownership from when we pick out our puppy at the pound to the sad day when the dog crosses the Rainbow Bridge and we have to say goodbye. And all of the money that is realized from the sale of the CD goes to Dogs Inc., the great school that trained my guide dog, Indy. A lot of people leave me Facebook messages and things like that, and it's not that I don't like you or I don't want to respond to them. I'm having trouble just personally getting my screen reader that makes my computer talk to me work well enough with those things so that I can use them. So if you really want to get a hold of me, you want to request a song or make a suggestion or ask a question, the best way to do that is via email at autoharp.down.home@gmail.com. So if you do that, I do answer all of my emails because I've been doing emails for 40 years, so I know how. And it's been great to be with you today. We really appreciate everybody who took time out of their weekend and their Saturday to join us. And now there are 5 Saturdays in November. So our next show will be on the 14th of December, and that'll be our Twisted Christmas number 6.
Yes.
Where we poke a little good-natured fun at the jolly man in the red suit and the rest of all the stuff and rituals and things surrounding the Christmas holiday. So if you are so inclined, please stop by for that, and we'll celebrate a little bit of the holiday with you. And I'd like to close with this thought. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So long, folks. Now it's time to say goodbye to George and all his kin. We'd sure like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back real soon to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. Home style, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now here.